Hello beautiful ones, welcome to your practice today. Today's practice is about beauty in the small things. So as we move through the practice, the invitation is to take little sips of beauty in, staying open to what we can see, what we can hear, what we can smell, and just allowing ourselves to bathe in the feeling of the small beauties that encompass us in our lives or in our practice in this moment. It might even just be one thing. So let's get started. If you have blocks, you might have them nearby, but they're not necessary. Okay, so we'll start in Sukhasana to begin with. Easy cross-legged pose with the right shin crossed in front of the left shin. And if you know that you're a little bit tighter in the hips, then you might sit yourself up on a folded blanket or towel. Let's have the center of the shins crossing one another. So as best you can, the feet are traveling away from each other towards opposite knees. And we'll allow the hands to settle on the legs. And just take a moment to arrive, just enjoying the first few breaths of the practice. And when you're ready, if the eyes were closed, let's gently open them. And we'll intertwine the hands, palms reach forward, and we'll reach the arms up overhead, just finding some lovely length through the sides of the body. And from here, let's turn the heart and the head towards the left knee. So now we're turning it over the left knee. Take another in-breath. And then as you exhale, let's release hands to the mat and fold forward on this diagonally over the left knee. And as best we can in the practice today, returning again and again just to the miracle of the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And we'll gently come up and let's step our right hand out to the right and lean up and over to the right. Left arm reaches up and over. And we'll come back to center. Bring the hands behind you a moment. Just take a moment to lift the chest, lift the chin, and take a beautiful deep breath in. And then as we exhale, we'll release and just switch sides. So we'll bring left shin in front, center of the shins crossing, left foot across in front of right knee and right foot underneath left knee. Intertwine the fingers the other way, turn the palms forward and reach up. And a little quarter turn towards the right knee now. Take an inhale. And then as we exhale, let's fold on this diagonally forward over the right knee. And perhaps noticing today as you move through the practice, pose by pose or shape by shape, just how that invites a little bit more ease and spaciousness into your body-mind instrument. And walk the hands in and let's take a side bend up and over to the left side. And then back up to center. Okay, beautiful. So let's meet in a downward facing dog. I'll meet you there. Take a moment to get settled in the downward facing dog. Make any movement or adjustments that feel delicious for you. Maybe as you look through the legs or towards the feet, there's just a little moment of celebration looking at the world upside down. Let's take a lovely little twist here in our down dog. So bend your left knee, keep the right leg straight and strong. And then we'll turn the right toes out on an angle, about 45 degrees. Right toes turn out, right heel pivots in and down onto the mat. And as you anchor through the outer edge of the right foot, swivel the hips and the torso to the right, so you're looking underneath the right arm. And let's return to center. And then we'll step our right foot forward between the hands. And this might be where you use blocks. It can be nice to have hands on blocks for a little more space, or you might just have the hands on the mat. And we'll soften the back knee toward the mat. Let it gently lower onto the mat, and then lift the back knee up. And then we'll start to straighten into the front leg, bow over the front leg, and re-bend the front knee. And just pulse between those two today. Back knee lowers and lifts. Front leg towards straight and bow over the leg. We're going to see how a lot of small, beautiful, humble poses, simple poses today in the practice can accumulate together and create something quite magnificent or playful or unexpected. So let's see where that takes us. The next time the front knee's bent, stay there, back leg strong, and let's anchor the hand, step back, down dog. And then same thing, second side, right knee bends, left leg straight and strong. The feet need to be hip width distance to be able to enjoy this twisted down dog. And then we'll turn the left toes out, the left heel in and down on the mat, and swivel the hips and the torso to the left, looking out underneath the left armpit. And as you press into the hands, the left hip is lifting up and back. And we turn to center, and then we'll step left foot forward between the hands. Exactly the same again, beautiful ones. Lowering and lifting the back knee and straightening and re-bending into the front knee. Taking in little sips of beauty wherever you can today. It might be something beautiful in your space. It might be a beautiful breath. It might be the feeling of blossoming open that's coming into the body as you move. And the next time the front knee's bent and the back knee is lifted away from the mat, let us anchor the hands on the mat and step back, down dog. Now from here, let's raise the right leg up and we'll lift it high today. So three-legged dog, right hip rolls up over the left hip. Keep your left heel heavy. And as you lift the right leg up, there's a feeling of pressing the right thigh back behind you. You might stay here with the leg long, or you might bend the knee, let the heel fall back. Take another in-breath. And then we'll exhale, right foot steps outside the right hand this time. So right foot wide outside the right hand and right toes turned out a little. This is important. We'll use this later in the practice. Lower the back knee to the mat or a folded blanket and just settle here. You might stay up on the hands or choose to come a little lower down onto the forearms. And let's reach our right fingertips wherever you are, forward, up and back, and allow the whole torso to just spiral open, following the arm, picking up the back foot. And you can stay here just reaching toward the foot or take a hold of the foot. Either way, you're lengthening beautifully through the front of the left thigh, which is what we're looking for today. The left hip and thigh getting a little bit of length. One more breath in. And then we'll let it go. Exhale, release. Hands to the mat and step back, down dog. And straight to second side. Left leg rises up. Lifting the left thigh high. Pressing the left thigh back. Maybe bend the knee, maybe keep the legs straight. That's just a personal preference if you like. And then we'll step wide again into what I call this lizard lunge. Left toes turning out a little bit, drifting out off the mat, and back knee lowers. Staying up on the hands or perhaps coming onto the forearms. Both are just different perspectives, different ways of experiencing or different ways of embodied experience, if you like. And then left fingertips reaching forward, up and back. And back foot lift. Reaching toward the foot or all the way to the foot. And if you find that you're only reaching toward the foot, you have this beautiful added advantage of perhaps a little bit more engagement in your hamstrings. So you can soak in that small beauty of strong hamstrings. Last in breath. And let's let it go on the out breath. Come back up onto the hands. We'll meet back in down dog, beautiful ones. And just take a moment to inhabit the body. And let's walk our feet towards our hands. Come into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. And let's cradle the backs of the legs with the hands, the backs of the calves. So if that means you need to bend the knees a little to settle the hands on the backs of the calves, go for it. It's almost as though the hands are just cradling the calves, this beautiful gesture of warmth and friendliness, and acknowledging the calves, all that they do for us in our day-to-day. And then we'll bring hands to waist, press into the feet and rise to stand. Okay. So far we've released a little bit through the back of the hip and the front of the hip. So now we're going to come into the inside, all of these small things coming together in a moment. So let's step our feet out wide. About a leg's length is kind of a nice general distance for many of us, and feet parallel to begin with. Let's bring the hands to the waist. Draw the elbows back, anchor through the feet as you lift the heart up, and we'll exhale and fold forward over the legs. When you get to the bottom, whatever that means, let's let the hands come to the mat, and we'll turn the fingers to face back through the legs in the same direction as the heels, and then start to walk the hands any amount through the legs. Give yourself space to just be here a moment. And now let's walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Lift the chest a little and we'll turn the toes out 45 degrees. Bend the knees and bring the hands to the tops of the thighs. So we'll only do this once each side today. We'll use our left hand and press the inside of the left thigh away. Keep the arms straight and strong as you now start to draw the left shoulder towards the right knee. And the right hand just rests on the right thigh, right elbow can be bent. And just returning to the miracle of the breath, breathing in, breathing out. And then let's switch sides. Right shoulder towards left knee. And we'll return to center. Straighten the legs, turn the toes forward, and we'll just river the hands down the legs and fold forward one more time. It's almost as though as we fold over the legs once again, all the busyness that might be there in the mind just drops out of the crown of the head onto the mat and dissolves. I don't know about you, but for me, the mind is occupied by everything but this breath, this moment, blossoming open to contentment. Okay, let's walk the hands towards the top of the mat, pivot on the feet and step back to downward facing dog. So now we'll take everything we've practiced and put it all together into something playful, hopefully. So go ahead and step your right foot outside your right hand, just as we did earlier. Right toes turned out a little bit, and lower the left knee to the mat or a folded blanket if you need a little bit of extra cushioning. Okay, and then we'll reach the right fingertips once again, forward, up, back and around. And pick up the back foot. You don't need to pick up the back foot. You can choose to keep the foot on the floor. So now every little thing that's offered is just a beautiful little stepping stone, and you can choose to stay on whichever stepping stone feels delicious for you. So you might be here. You might be reaching toward the foot. You might be holding the foot. Bringing your attention to the front leg, we'll start to wiggle the front foot forward on the same diagonal trajectory that the toes are pointing. And then you might start to slide the heel forward too. So back knee might be bent, back foot lifted. You might be holding the back foot. Okay, and last little option is to potentially come down onto the left forearm as you reach for the back foot. So stopping anywhere along the way, all of them offering beautiful viewpoints, none better than the other. And just see what small beauty's here for you right now. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? Fresh coffee brewing, birds singing, flowers on the table. Who knows? Then when you're ready to release, bring the hands under the shoulders, slide the hips back, and just gently step yourself back to a downward facing dog. Okay. And then once more, second side. So this time, left foot forward and wide. And I'll move my blocks out of the way. Right knee to the mat. Left fingertips sweep forward, up and around. Option to stay here. Option to pick up the back foot. Option to hold the foot. See where feels wholesome for you. And then we'll start to wiggle the front foot forward. I'm navigating my carpet at the same time. And slide the front foot forward and diagonally to the left. So it's actually not traveling straight forward to the top of the mat. The front leg's traveling on a diagonal. It's a lot more accessible way to practice like this for most people's hip joints. So you can experiment with that. Staying up on the right hand. Or coming onto the forearm. If you're like me, you'll need to let go of the foot to come down onto the forearm. And then we'll release. Hands to mat. Gently ease yourself out. And back to down dog. Wow, who would have thought all those little movements we did in the practice would lead to something like that. Okay, let's rock forward to plank pose, beautifuls. Take an in-breath. And we'll exhale, lower to the mat. Easy cobra pose. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, slowly lower. Let's do 2 more cobra rolls. Just a little bit of spinal extension for you in the practice today as well. So you move the spine through all of its degrees of freedom. And then we'll press back to all fours and take a moment. Hips back towards the heels. Maybe elbows wide, stack the hands. Child's pose. From child's pose, we'll sit upright and sit the hips off to one side. Let's stretch the legs out into a wide V shape. And you're welcome to sit the hips up on a folded blanket again if you did that at the beginning of the practice. And we're just going to ease over to the right side. Hand might slide down the thigh, reach the top arm. You might bend the elbow and cradle the head with the hand. Let the weight of the head offer you a beautiful sense of release through the outer upper left arm, outer left shoulder, side ribs. You're also welcome to reach towards the foot or to bring opposite hand to opposite thigh and press that thigh down and away. Let's return to center and just ease on into the second side, however it's going to express itself and unfold for you today. More and more I feel like, yoga or yogasana is really just a celebration of being embodied, being in the body. Using our body as our vehicle, our instrument for lightening up, or if you like, waking up, awakening. Back to the center. And we'll support the legs, bend the knees, bring everything in and wrap the arms around the legs and just round the spine a little, tuck the chin so you get a lovely little forward flexion while you embrace this body, this beautiful miracle of yours. And then we'll release. Okay, you might come and recline now to take rest for Shavasana, or just find an easy, comfortable seat and let the hands settle. And you might choose today to allow the gaze or the eyes to close and the gaze to turn in and observing all the small beauties in the inner landscape. Maybe it's spaciousness or brightness or sparkling, trickling sensations in different parts of the body. Or you might let the gaze stay softly open and taking in the light, gazing softly perhaps at something beautiful before you. Or enjoying their beautiful experience of looking out while also looking in. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Please feel free to stay in seated meditation or reclining in Shavasana a little longer. If this felt yummy for you, you're welcome to subscribe. Or if you'd like to experience a longer practice, the full version of this practice, that's available on my Patreon, and the link is in the description below. Peace, peace, peace. Shanti, shanti, shanti.